Hello, welcome to Revive Hi-Fi Canada, and today we have a speaker feature with the Paradigm Atom Monitor V5, and these are very little speakers, but boy do they put out some pretty big sound for their size, I have to say. These, of course, are made right here in Canada, so we're very happy to review these. We're happy to review all the speakers on this channel, but this is a pretty interesting one, as you can see by the look of the Paradigm Atom Monitor V5. They have a white woofer and a kind of a recessed or protruding type of baffle to which the woofer is embedded within. They also have a tweeter as well right above that's also kind of embedded within that baffle that's kind of sticking out from the main body of the front of the speaker. So we already talked a little bit about the build quality. We'll keep talking about that then. So the Paradigm, it's made quite well. The cabinet is pretty well braced. It is a rear ported speaker, which you know we tend to focus on quite a bit on this channel. A lot of the small bookshelf speakers kind of get the smaller height. They tend to put the port in the back instead of the front, so that you don't have to have that extra height by having the port in the front of the speaker. You'll see soon when we feature the Wharfedale Diamond 9.1 speakers coming up on the channel that they also have the front port and they're a little taller than these. So here you can see that the woofer is very unique. It has a white surface to it. The woofer is got also a white surround on it. It is a 5¼ inch woofer. It is a copolymer cone base mid-range driver with a die-cast chassis. Pretty high quality for this speaker, I would say, of this type of price range. I think these are more along the entry levels of Paradigm at the time, and these do not disappoint. Paradigm is an excellent company. I've had quite a few different Paradigm speakers. I had the original Phantoms, I had the original Titans, and I got these Atom monitor. I also had a pair of mini monitors, and I think those are the kind of predecessor to this series of the Atom monitor, and this is the 5th iteration of that, the Paradigm Atom Monitor V5, and I have to say these are very nice. It has so this polymer, copolymer type of woofer is also white, so they got this quite a unique look. It has a pure titanium 1-inch titanium dome tweeter, and I would say on this speaker the tweeter is kind of the star of the show. It has a pretty nice response, and we'll go into it when we talk a little bit more about the highs. Again, I mentioned that the tweeter and the woofer are embedded inside of this extruding, or the back is recessed around the frame, but there's also a part that protrudes out of the speaker, and that black baffle contains the tweeter and the woofer, and you can actually detach that whole entire piece from the speaker cabinet. The cabinet is well braced. What I love about this speaker, and you know this, is that I love magnetic grills, and this comes with magnetic grills, which I was very excited to see. It has nice binding posts on the back. The one thing I can say that I'm not overly pleased about with the cabinet is the port. The port, the rear base port, starts out with plastic. It's great. Many of the other companies have plastic that goes all the way through, and I'm not sure if this is a design choice to make better bass from a smaller speaker, but this has kind of a hardened, like a toilet paper roll, but hardened, thicker type of paper tube that's in the back for the base tube for the port. So these I prefer a full plastic port because I just feel like it has a better quality than when I open a speaker and I see a hardened cardboard type of material. But that's just me. So I think I gotta say right off the bat that I really like these speakers. I enjoy them quite a bit. I've had them connected to the TV. I've had them connected to my during my exercise. I've had them connected briefly to my desktop. I think they've done well in every place I've put them. But in a bigger room, we can talk a bit more about that. So let's start talking about the sound quality. We can start with the bass. The bass is pretty strong. I would say it's rated from 70 hertz down to 70 hertz, but I think it extends pretty well down close to 50 and maybe even lower. The one thing about PSB and Paradigm, two Canadian speaker companies that I love, is that they tend to be able to make smaller speakers that have bigger bass, and they're extremely good in designing speakers that way. I've always been impressed with the bass that comes from most Paradigm speakers that I've tried. It also going back to the build, it has an 8 ohm impedance, so they're easy to drive, with an 88 dB sensitivity, so they're also, or 89, which makes them extremely easy to drive. I put them on a small desktop chip amp and they sounded great too. Moving over to the mid-range, I would say the bass is not overly boomy, which I really appreciated, and the mid-range is just right there with the bass. It's just nicely placed. The voices don't jump out at you, so they're not emphasizing it too much. Everything's kind of where you expect it to be. So it has a pretty nice even response. And then when we move to the highs, the tweeter really here, the titanium dome tweeter here is very well done. I would say that what I love is that the high notes are you get all the highs, but again, I don't hear any sort of harshness at all on any of the tracks that I play through this, and yet I can hear almost all of the details, more so than other speakers that I've tried. And I sort of kind of compare this to the DefTech Studio Monitor 45 that I had on the channel, which I loved as well. These have even, I would venture to say, slightly clearer highs, but they still maintain all the details, but they both do. But these had a slightly more sparkle to the highs than the DefTech. So that was quite nice. And yet these also, I would say, went toe to toe with the DefTechs in bass. And these cabinets are far smaller than the DefTech cabinets. And the DefTech is no slouch. The speaker's only 11 inches tall by 6.5 wide by 10 inch deep. So they're pretty deep. They're 10 inches. But the DefTech was, I think, a good foot deep. And it had a very solid construction on both of these speakers, except for the port, of course, that I'm not overly a big fan of. They also had a similar hardened port on the Paradigm Titan original that I had. So I wasn't a fan of that either. But overall, what they do here in Paradigm's case, they do very well. And the sound is extremely clear, is what I can say. And the nice thing is that they have a very practical size. 11 inches tall, 10 inches deep, 6.5 inches wide. You can put it in a whole lot of different places. You can have it in a small bedroom system. You can have it in your desktop. Right now it's in my living room. It's a pretty big room, and it's still putting out quite a bit of sound. So extremely impressive for the size. Very versatile for the size. I would go as far as say, when you talk about imaging, it does an extremely good job. Everything is where I expect it to be. Like I'm listening, and for a speaker of this size and its price range that it has, it's punching above that for sure. And it's got a pretty nice imaging. I can hear pretty much very clear stereo image. The soundstage. So here's where, when I first listened to these, I thought, wow, a speaker of this size putting out this big a sound, and they do. But then when I switched back and forth between slightly bigger speakers, so I switched to my DefTechs and I switched to my KEF Q150s after I listened to these, and I could tell that the soundstage was bigger on those. Those are bigger speakers, so it's fair. So these are definitely punching above their weight and above their size, but so are the others. So those are all three very good speakers, but these have a smaller size to begin with than the other two, than the FQ150 and the DefTech SM45 that on the channel. So it makes sense that they're not quite as big on the sound stage. They don't sound quite as big as those, but boy, for their size that they do have, they do sound very large. So keep that in mind. The bass was pretty equivalent. The bass hits really hard, hits really low. I think they're being very generous by rating it at 70 hertz at the low end. I think it does a lot better than that. So I would say that I really enjoy these speakers. The thing I love about them is that I do hear the sparkle and the sound of the tweeter, but I don't have it hurt my ears, and that's tough to find. So kudos to Paradigm for doing a great job of making these speakers and designing these speakers. I think they've done a great job on these. These are now pretty much vintage. We consider vintage. The build quality, love the magnetic grills. Yeah, it's pretty good quality for this type of speaker. I'm quite impressed with these, and I think they'll stick around for a bit here. I really enjoy them. So again, soundstage pretty decent. Could be better. The imaging's excellent. Highs are great. Mid-range is exactly where you need it to be, not jumping out at you. Lows are way beyond the size of the speaker, and yeah, it's pretty decent, I would say. Build quality, except for, I would say I take a point off for the port, but I give a point for having magnetic grills. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and if you like our channel, please subscribe. Our goal of our channel is really just to bring more interest to this audio hobby that we love and that we enjoy pretty much 24/7, 365 days a year. We really enjoy listening to music and also to try out different types of audio equipment. So thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe. See you again next time on Revive Hi-Fi Canada. Bye now.